So just a quick word before I start this video. This is a 4-hour video that I started with, and then I've had to edit it down to probably about the 25-30 minutes that you're seeing now, which took a good 4 hours to edit out, cut through. So it took a lot of time away from work. So if you could at least give it a couple of minutes, watch through as much as you can bear, I appreciate it. And if you do like it, you know, subscribe, hit the like button, make some comments, put some ideas down there of what you want me to make a good video of next. I'll spend a little bit more time on it and address some concerns, whatever I see in the comments. Thank you guys for your time, and I'll talk to you soon. Good morning, everybody. Today I have a 2008 Audi S4 4.2 V8, and we're going to be doing the oil filter housing gasket. It's buried down underneath here, leaking oil down to the front of the engine, and the valve cover gaskets. It's a 4-hour job for the intake manifold gasket, and it's probably another hour and a half, 2 hours for the valve cover gaskets. Here's all the parts that we're going to be doing today. We got valve cover gaskets, spark plug tube seals, intake manifold gaskets, and the oil filter housing gasket, which is the one that's causing this entire problem. Of course, the cheapest gasket takes the longest to get to. There's 4 bolts holding down the fuel injector rails. And I got a vacuum cleaner to clean up the intake manifold gaskets. It's a fairly simple little setup. 1000-watt inverter, 7-amp vacuum cleaner. Ran that off the battery here. Disconnected the clip there on the intake runner where that connects the solenoid, this solenoid spring, and I disconnected this vacuum line here. It seems to be all that's holding the front of it together. However, down on the back side, right there, the intake manifold lips underneath the throttle body, so I'm going to go ahead and pull the throttle body out of the way. It seems to be holding that down. And as we can see here, even before I added some coolant here from leakage, definitely an oil leak down inside this valley. A lot of it does seem to be coming from the oil filter housing gasket there. Stuck around here into the corner, that's pretty thick. And over over in this corner is concerning because unless the windage brought it over here, might have a head gasket issue going on there. But we'll clean that all up. We're not doing head gaskets, so we'll clean all that up. And it's wet all the way to the front with the oil dripping down the front. That's where most of it was coming down the front of the oil pan. But now I'm concerned about this tray here. So I'm gonna go ahead and pull this entire tray out, this cover, and the oil filter housing, and clean the gasket on this and see what we could do to reseal that. You noticed when I was taking everything apart, did break a couple of vacuum lines. We'll fix those when we put it back together. These vacuum lines are always gonna break on you. There's almost no way to get around that. So we're gonna clean all that up. And also, you saw the way that I took the intake manifold apart. I didn't have to take the upper plenum apart. I could have taken the whole entire intake manifold assembly apart. But you look at it, this thing is just way weathered. I don't have a new gasket for this upper plenum. I'm gonna go see if I can source one real quick, but that definitely needs to be replaced at this time anyway. So I'm kind of glad I took that apart because you don't want to have a future failure, have a comeback for something that's non-related and tear this whole entire thing apart for no reason whatsoever. So I'll set up the camera here to start disassembling and cleaning this, and we'll see where we can go from there. This oil filter housing, there's two of the Volkswagen 12-point screws holding the back of the oil filter housing in. And the front side just goes back to a standard T30. It's already leaking oil. That's a bad gasket for sure. I'm gonna have a problem here. There she is, flat as a pancake. So I got concerned real quick here. It looks slightly different than the picture, but I think we're okay. Yep, that'll be fine. Just leave that in there for now and move on. I'm pretty sure that's leaking oil too. So get that out, clean it off so we can reseal it, because we don't have one of those either. This gasket looks like shit, but if you look really close at the edging here, all this delamination is only in the center. It's not on the edges where it seals anything. So I'm going to go ahead and reseal this with some silicone, the right stuff. This is very oil and fuel resistant. So I'm going to put a very thin layer on that. I clean that up as much as I can, and we're going to go ahead and reset that. Continue putting everything back together now. Got a new O-ring back here for the oil filter housing. And then a new gasket here. Everything else is reinstalled. Go ahead and put the oil filter housing back on. Start back here with this cooling line on the firewall. The throttle body. Be real careful with this guy, because if that T breaks, then we got more work to do. Got it. Don't forget to plug things in down low. Got this connector for the oil pressure. Hooked back up. Gonna be in the coolant line. There we go. Good. I'm not going to reseal this gasket. I'm going to reuse it, but you can put some copper gasket spray on it if you like, just a little bit. I'm not going to right now. When you get this started, double check and make sure that the gasket is on there, that you didn't just get one corner and the rest of it fell. You might not be able to see that. It'll definitely cause problems. Well, I found an assortment of these guys, so I'm sure one of these guys will work. It's better than trying to fix this broken thing or use a straight hose that when you bend it's going to kink in the middle and then there won't be no flow. So this one should be fine. There we go. Perfect. Here's pretty much the whole set of tools that I needed for the intake on the Audi S4. And I'll need a lot less for the valve cover gaskets. Should do that, and that. Sit right in the way. And I'll move that for this video here. Everybody got a good seat? Although it looks like this is a good call, a lot of oil in that tube seal. Actually, all of these are saturated. These two are actually leaking. So, good time to do the valve cover gaskets for sure. Looks like somebody's been using Pennzoil. hardest one to get to. Remember when I said I'll put this fuel rail back on because it's not going to get in the way of anything? Yep. So we'll have to work around that carefully. And then I'm going to make a valid discovery. I'll point something out to you. So you can see there, we're running into the back of the chain here. And that's what I'm going to do is going to pull the valve cover gasket off. So just guide it in. So we got it in there, but before you go ahead and tighten everything down, you want to verify with a mirror around the bottom edge, all the edges, that gasket didn't roll underneath, that it's sitting flat. I've seen that mistake too many times where that'll roll over on you, bolt it down, and it's just going to dump oil out the back.